the same occupiers have the right of veto. Who should the people of Iraq complain about, and to where should they take their complaints with hopes of securing their rights? We saw in Lebanon that some powers, for a long 33 days, prevented the Security Council from taking any action against the Zionist regime with the hope of giving them time to achieve victory. However, when they became disappointed in seeing their hopes unfulfilled, they decided to cease the hostility by adopting a resolution. But the duty of the Security Council is to prevent the expansion of conflicts, to put in place ceasefires, and to promote peace and safety. To whom and to what organization should the people of Lebanon complain? Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the presence of some monopolistic powers has prevented the Security Council from performing its main duty, which is the maintenance of international peace and security based on justice. The credibility of the Council has been tarnished, and its efficacy in defending the rights of the UN member states has been undermined. Many nations have lost their confidence in the Council. Some other mechanisms, such as the monetary and banking mechanisms, are in the same undesirable situation and have been turned into tools for the imposition of the wishes of some powers on other nations. It is evident that these mechanisms are not capable of responding to current needs and solving challenges and establishing fair and sustainable relations. Dear colleagues, again, there is no doubt that the second and more important factor is some big powers' disregard of morals, divine values, the teachings of the prophets, and the instructions by the Almighty God, as well as the rule of the incompetent. How can the incompetent, who cannot even manage and control themselves, rule humanity and arrange its affairs? Unfortunately, they have put themselves in the position of God. They were in servitude to their own whims, and they desire to have everything for themselves. For them, human dignity and the lives, properties, and territories of others are no longer respected. Humanity has had a deep wound on its tired body caused by impious powers for centuries. Today, the problems that people around the world face are mainly rooted in the disregard of human values and ethics, and also in the rule of the selfish and incompetent. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, the only sustainable way to the betterment of mankind is the return to the teachings of the divine prophets, monotheism, respect for the dignity of humans, and the flow of love and affection in all relationships, ties, and regulations, and to reform the present structures on this basis. To fulfill this objective, I invite everybody, to form a front of fraternity, amity, and sustainable peace based on monotheism and justice under the name of Coalition for Peace, to prevent incursions and arrogance, and to promote the culture of affection and justice. I hereby announce that with the help of all independent, justice-seeking, and peace-loving nations, the Islamic Republic of Iran will be heading down this path. Monotheism, justice, and compassion for humans should dominate all the pillars of the UN, and this organization should be a forum for justice, and every member should enjoy equal spiritual and legal support. The General Assembly, as the representative of the international community, shall be considered as the most important pillar of the UN in order to, free from any pressure and threats by big powers, take required measures for the reforming of the UN structures, and especially change the present status of the Security Council and define new structures based on justice and democracy, with the purpose of becoming responsive to the present requirements and to be able to settle existing challenges heading to the establishment of an enduring stability and security. Mr. President, Excellencies, the nuclear issue of Iran is a clear example of how such mechanisms perform and the prevailing thoughts behind them. You are all aware that Iran is a member of the International Atomic Energy Agency and has always observed its rules and regulation and has had the most extensive cooperation with this agency in all areas. All our nuclear activities have been completely peaceful and transparent. According to the statute of the IAEA, any member has a number of rights and obligations. In fact, all members have to stay on a peaceful path and under the supervision of the agency assist other members. And they are entitled to be supported by the agency and have access to the fuel cycle with the help of the agency and its members. Thus far, Iran has fulfilled all of its obligations, but has been deprived of other members' technical assistance and, even at times, of the agency's support. For about 5 years, some of the aforementioned powers have, by exerting heavy pressure on the IAEA, attempted to prevent the Iranian nation from exercising its rights. They have derailed Iran's nuclear issue from its legal tracks and have politicized the atmosphere to impose their wishes through taking advantage of all their potentials. The government of Iran spared no effort to build confidence, but they were not satisfied with anything short of the complete halt of all activities, even those related to research and university fields. They were only after depriving the Iranian people of their inalienable rights, even to the extent that those centers not involved in the fuel cycle or not in need of supervision by the agency were closed. After 3 years of negotiations and attempts to build confidence, the Iranian nation came to the firm belief that the main concern of these powers is not the possible deviation of Iran's nuclear activities, but is to prevent its scientific progress under this pretext. And if this trend continues, there will be no possibility for Iran to enjoy its rights, not even in the next 20 years. Therefore, Iran decided to pursue the issue through its appropriate legal path, one that runs through the IAEA, and to disregard unlawful and political impositions by the arrogant powers. In the last 2 years, abusing the Security Council, the arrogant powers have repeatedly accused Iran and even made military threats and imposed illegal sanctions against it. However, by the grace of faith in God and national unity, Iran has moved forward step by step, and now our country is recognized as one with the capacity for industrial-scale fuel cycle production for peaceful purposes. Unfortunately, the Security Council, in dealing with this obvious legal issue, was influenced by some bullying powers and failed to uphold justice and protect the rights of the Iranian people. Fortunately, the IAEA has recently tried to regain its legal role as supporter of the rights of its members while supervising nuclear activities. We see this as a correct approach adopted by the agency. Previously, they illegally insisted on politicizing the Iranian nation's nuclear case. But today, because of the resistance of the Iranian nation, the issue is back to the agency. And I officially announce that, in our opinion, the nuclear issue of Iran is now closed and has turned into an ordinary agency matter. Today, many important questions have been raised about the nuclear activities of certain powers within the IAEA, which should be dealt with properly. Of course, Iran has always been and will be prepared to have constructive talks with all parties.